Jefferson County Court Law number 2 is back in session. We have 3 cases. First case is cause number 331806. Second case is cause number 331810. And the third case is cause number 331812. All 3 cases are styled the state of Texas versus Michael Ozzie Baltazar Aguilar. Mr. Aguilar, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Aguilar, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Aguilar, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Aguilar, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Aguilar?
I'm fine with myself.
I'm doing fine. Mr. Aguilar, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Todd LeBlanc. Attorney LeBlanc, how are you doing?
Good, Judge. Thank you.
And Mr. LeBlanc, do you waive a record in Mr. Aguilar's cases?
We do, Your Honor.
And the state is represented by Attorney Lamar Johnson. Attorney Johnson, how are you doing?
Pretty well, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Aguilar, in cause number 331812, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about January 25th of 2022, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed to class A misdemeanor offense of evading arrest, search, transportation. Mr. Aguilar, do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Aguilar, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Your thing is still open.
Guilty.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Aguilar, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. On page 2 of this document, there are a set of initials MA on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Mr. Aguilar, did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
And on page 3 of this same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Mr. Aguilar, did you also sign this document?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Aguilar, I have another document here. This document is titled Trial Court Certification Defendant's Right of Appeal. And at the bottom of this document, Mr. Aguilar, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Mr. Aguilar, did you also sign this document?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Aguilar, at the top of the same document, there are 2 boxes that are checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargaining case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And the second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Aguilar, did you sign a document out there on paper that is titled Discovery Certification?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Aguilar, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. LeBlanc, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Aguilar, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
Now, Ms. State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer States 1?
Yes, Your Honor. State offers States 1.
We have no objections, Your Honor.
And you also, let's see. And okay, no objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. LeBlanc, you've advised and counseled Mr. Aguilar. Is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None that I'm aware of, Your Honor.
And Mr. Aguilar, your attorney, Mr. LeBlanc, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes. Yes,
And-
sir.
And are you, has he provided full, effective, and legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Aguilar, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given, and I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plea of guilty in this case, Your Honor, the state is recommending confinement in Jefferson County Jail for a period of 90 days. the state is asking that the court give defendant credit for the 90 days previously spent in jail, making this a time served plea agreement, Your Honor. As for court costs, the state is asking that the court use the time served to both tax and retire court costs, Your Honor. Also, as part of the plea agreement, the state has agreed to dismiss the unlawful carrying of a weapon and cause number 331810, and defendant has agreed to forfeit the weapon, Your Honor. And the state is also, as part of this plea agreement, agreeing to dismiss the evading charge and cause number 331806, Your Honor.
Okay, now, Mr. Aguilar, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you've already served 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. And therefore, you'll be given credit for time served. And could you give me, reach over there and give me, no, the forfeiture. It should be in the middle one. No, middle.
Judge, there was a forfeiture document out here.
I know.
Okay.
I just wanted to go over it. It should be up there. You're right. And Mr. Aguilar, I'll just repeat it. The state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you've already served 90 days. Therefore, you'll be given credit for time served. The court cost in this case is $327, but you will not have to pay the $327 because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. The state will be dismissing cause numbers 331806 and cause number 331810. And in cause number 331810, you will be forfeiting the weapon in that case. And Mr. Aguilar, did you sign a motion to forfeit the weapon?
Yes, sir.
And that forfeiture will be to the Beaumont Police Department, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, before you signed that document, did your attorney go over this document with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in this document?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And is everything in this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
The court is going to grant the forfeiture of the weapon in this case to the Beaumont Police Department. Now, Mr. Aguilar, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Aguilar, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Now, Mr. Aguilar, this will conclude your cases. You can follow the bailiff and you have a blessed day.
You too.
And Mr. LeBlanc, thank you for everything. This is the last case. You're free to go and you have a blessed day as well.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
5 days. Oh, you already did it.
Emerson, DeQuincy Emerson.
Mr. Wilkerson, he's been.
Emerson,
Okay, we got
you
it.
ready for Emerson?
Yes.
Or no, if anything. happens.
Okay, the court is in session in clause number 328206, case to style the state of Texas versus DeQuincy Nathaniel Emerson. Mr. Emerson, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, Mr. Emerson?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Emerson. Would you please raise your right hand? The other hand.
Okay.
Emerson, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you, God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Emerson, you may put your hand down. Mr. Emerson, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney David Grove. Attorney Grove, again, how are you doing?
Good, Judge.
And do you waive a record in Mr. Emerson's case?
Yes, sir.
And the state is represented in this case by attorney Tommy Coleman. Attorney Coleman, how are you doing?
Good, Your Honor.
Mr. Emerson, I have before me a document that is titled Information. This information alleges that on or about November 5th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of evading arrest, detention. Mr. Emerson, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, no contest?
No contents.
Now, you pleaded no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
What'd you say, sir?
Are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Emerson, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. On page 2 of this document, there are a set of initials DE that are on a line, and next to a box says check nola contendere. Mr. Emerson, and that means no contest. Mr. Emerson, did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Emerson, on the next page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Mr. Emerson, did you sign this document?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Emerson, on the next document, Mr. Emerson, there is a signature. This next document is titled Trial Court Certification to Defendant's Right of Appeal. There's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Mr. Emerson, did you sign this document?
Yes, sir.
And at the top of this same document, Mr. Emerson, there are 2 boxes that are checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Emerson, did you sign a document out there on paper that is titled Discovery Certification?
What'd you say, sir?
Did you sign a document out there on paper that is titled Discovery Certification?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Emerson, before you sign and initial these documents, did Attorney William Wilkerson go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Emerson, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment, and State's Exhibit number 2, the probable cause affidavit. State, you like to offer States 1 and 2?
Yes, Judge. State offer States 1 and 2.
No objection.
No objections. States 1 and 2 are admitted. Now, Mr. Grove, you've advised and counseled Mr. Emerson. Is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Emerson, your attorney of record, Mr. David Grove, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
And also, on behalf of Mr. Grove, Mr. Attorney William Wilkerson has also advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
And has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Emerson, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea of no contest in this case, the state's recommending confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 90 days. We're asking that the court give the defendant credit for the 90 days that he's previously spent in custody, making this a time served plea agreement. And we're also asking that the court utilize that time served to both tax and retire the court costs in this case, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Emerson, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail in this case because you've already served 90 days in jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for time served. The court
Yes.
cost in this case, Emerson, is $502, but you will not have to pay the court cost because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court cost will be taxed and retired. Mr. Emerson, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Emerson, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Emerson, this will conclude your case. Please follow the bailiff and you have a blessed day.
You too, sir. You have a blessed day too.
All right.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Grove, and you have a blessed day as
Okay,
well.
well, thank you, Judge. I appreciate you accommodating me. Yes.
And this is the last one, Mr. Porter.
That was it.
Okay. This will conclude the calling of the court's special review docket on today's date of August 4th of 2022 in County Court at Law Number 2, Jefferson County, Texas, Judge Terrence L.